Hello, students. I just wanted to touch base with you all. I feel like it's been kind of a long time since I have touched base with any of you guys. I want you to know if you're starting to fall behind on some stuff that you can turn things in late. That's okay. It's been a crazy semester. I'll be considerate of your situation, and I'll work with you. Okay. So don't think, oh, I haven't gotten that project done yet. It was due, that I'm not going to consider it. I'll still consider it for full points. You'll notice that I'm very far behind on grading. I do apologize. I'm trying to get caught up here, but all my classes are online now. And that's definitely pushed me back to some degree. What I wanted to do was kind of talk a little bit about Module 7. You'll see that I got rid of Module 8, Module 9, and Module 10. So within Module 7, there are 3 areas that you'll see. You'll see the lesson plan design. There should be some documents there for you. One of those documents are the National Visual Arts Standards. You'll see they're broken down into 4 areas: creating, producing, responding, and connecting. And when you read through those anchor standards, read through them pretty well, and you'll see that most likely, if you have a good lesson plan going on with an engaging project and it's linked to something, maybe you have the kids actually responding to some kind of a prompt, or you're having the students talk about something in their own lives that they understand in a certain way, connecting to work. And of course, if you're making anything, you're creating, then you most likely already have met some of the National Visual Arts Standards. They were designed basically around the same time that a lot of the Common Core standards were coming out, and was response to that. And so they broadened those things out quite a bit and included that with a lot of different media. All I really ask for is that you have at least one standard in each one of the 4 sections. And again, it's going to be very hard for you not to get one in each one of those. And that's what you'll list within the standard section of your lesson plan that you design. The next image on there, I like this. I like this little PDF. It's a Bloom's taxonomy of planning verbs, and so it's got a lot of verbs that you can use. Of course, it's for digital stuff, but at the same time, a lot of these things can be used as verbs for describing what's going on with the objectives. Okay, so when you're writing your objectives, you'll see that I have kind of a formula for you on there. So if I open up the lesson plan template with a explanation, you'll just fill it in based on kind of how your lesson has been designed. The area that has your objectives and outcomes, they all start with the student's shall or the student's will. Then you insert some kind of a Bloom's verb. Then you talk about the materials or concepts, and then finish the statement up. So the example that I have there are the students will create, which is on the very highest level of Bloom's taxonomy, so we definitely want to use that, a simple contour sketch showing different values and assign different values to each. So basically, if I tell them how to create or demonstrate how to create a lot of different value by multiplying lines and shading with them, I can make a pretty good objective out of that, a good outcome. You'll list your media and materials. I have asked you to connect this with some kind of a content. So, a content that is a traditional content, like in school, is absolutely fine. It's most common for that type of integration, whether it be English, mathematics. You could even do something with physical education if you wanted to. I've never had anybody do that, but that could be way cool. But basically, it's a good way of coming at some of the content that you want to teach your students in a different way, in a more engaging way, in a way that they're going to have an experience with rather than just, a textbook experience. They're going to make and create something so that it kind of helps internalize in a project-based learning way what they're learning. So you'll include that in the content connection section. You'll also note that my video on the Flipgrid I talk about how you can do something multicultural based if you want. You could do something involving art history if you'd like. You can do something that's just content connections. I'm fine with that. Or if you want to, you can choose collaborative as something that you would use to design, where maybe each kid would make something that would be a part of a whole. So think about and consider some of those options as well. Could be really cool. Then your procedures is basically where you're describing every single step in detail that you're going to go through to demonstrate and the students will use to create their work. You'll talk about the demonstrations as well. Your National Visual Arts standards are way, 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 way at the end. And then I really just ask for a very simple rubric for grading. You can see that the example lesson plan template here, it only has 3 sections. So it's, did the students follow the directions? Did they show understanding of the content? And did they execute some creativity in using some of their techniques that she showed? It was a painting project where they had to paint habitats and animals and stuff like that. And it was pretty fun. It was cool. And then you decide how much to assign points for that. There we go. Okay. I wouldn't worry so much about like timelines and deadlines because typically it's going to be a 1-day deal for elementary. Their attention span can't handle anything longer than that. If you do want to do a longer project and maybe it's something you've designed, you might list that at the end and be like, we're doing this portion of something in order to accommodate for that. Okay, moving through here, I want to get down to the focal study, okay? The focal study is something, it's an essay, and it says Content Connections Essay. I want to describe this because I've had a few questions about it. You'll see there's a reading assignment there, okay? And basically, it's the same rating assignment that you did when you did the core competencies, okay? You're just gonna go back and reference those different age groups as you are looking at one project in the text. So you're gonna go through the text, you're gonna find a project, and I have those pages listed. They're 108 to 485. The bulk of the text is projects. So you're going to choose one that you like or that you may be excited about or that you think you can analyze. And you're going to analyze that based upon the competencies of your students. Like the first question that I have on there, discuss the elements about students' characteristics in your targeted age range of student with regard to the lesson you chose. So if you've got like a kindergarten project and it looks like this person has designed this lesson to where that's not going to work for them, you might want to list some of the characteristics in there that will work or won't work and what you'll have to accommodate for. And then I ask, how can you modify the lesson plan so that it does work for those kids? Then I talk about things like media, materials, or technology. What can they do with those types of things? And that's in the beginning of the book as well that you can reference. Discuss the student's understanding of concepts for your chosen age range, and that's in those competencies areas at the very beginning of the book too. And then discuss suggestions for teaching this age group within the lesson plan and discuss a content connection that is not already defined with the chosen lesson plan. You're going to see content connections in all of those lesson plans, and that's why I chose that book. But I want you to think of how you could integrate a different core content connection into that lesson plan so that you can start to, create these things on your own. So what we're doing is we're breaking down something that's a successful project and we're analyzing it. And then while you're doing that, think a little bit about your lesson plan, right? If some of the stuff that you're researching when you look in the book kind of shows you that maybe you need to make some changes with regard to the age of your students or what materials they're using or their understanding of concepts or accommodations for, like students that may be special needs, that kind of thing. Use that to help you refine your lesson plan. Okay. So just to be clear about that content connections essay, that's also called the focal study. There we go. You're only going to be evaluating a lesson that you choose out of the book, okay? And the lesson plan design that's in that same module, that's your designed lesson that you're going to demonstrate, okay, on the final. And then you'll see I want you to turn your lesson plan into the assignment there. It's in bold letters. It says, turn your lesson plan into this assignment so I can access it through Blackboard. Excuse me. Okay, moving on. Let's see. Module 9, management styles. This one's pretty straight away, pretty simple. I don't think I need to explain too much with this. I don't like to spend a lot of time on classroom management because I know you all are required to take a classroom management course, which I think is great. But just thinking a little bit about art activities and how things can get out of hand pretty quickly if you don't have things organized and routines and procedures in place. And then just talking about your style as an educator. And sometimes that works better with art projects, and sometimes it works not as good with art projects, just kind of depending on how much control you like. Whew, okay. I'm getting Zoom invites now. I didn't think we were having our meeting today. I want to talk a little bit about the 5-minute lesson plan final presentation, okay? It's a good idea for you to make an example of your project ahead of time so that you can reference that while you're demonstrating. It's also a good idea to have things like maybe variations on that project if you're going to allow your kids to use different techniques or different media or something like that, and have that stuff out so that you can make reference to that as you're showing us from step 1 how to begin that project, right? So think about any demonstration or video that you've watched concerning a DIY situation or any of these art projects that you've been doing in my class, and think about how you need to have it organized so that it rolls smoothly when you film yourself. What I'll do with your lesson plan when you get that turned in is I'll look them over, and if I think it's fine, I will probably just email you and be like, hey, looks great, give you a grade for that. If I think it needs some work, what I'm probably going to do is suggest some revisions, send it back to you, and I'm going to give you a chance to revise that. I'm not going to dock points as long as you do it well, okay? All right, last thing I want to discuss, the 100 object project. That one's technically not due until the end of April, so please know that you guys do have a little bit more time on that one. So if you haven't started yet, you're fine. You're still in good shape. I haven't put any videos up on that one. I'm kind of stalled out on my 100 object project now because I've been like fixing stuff in my house. It's unfortunate, but it's part of like being at home all the time. He's like, oh, you're available to fix the door and the fridge and all that. Well, nonetheless, I don't want you guys to worry or fret about any of those things, okay? I've had a great semester with you so far, and I want y'all to finish strong. So again, I understand your situations. Don't fret about late work. Just get it all in before the deadline at the end of the semester, and I think we're good at that point. Yes. All right. Give me an email if you need, or shoot me an email anytime you need clarification or any help, and I will do my best to get back with you quickly. Have a great day. Bye.